If you're a guitar player, you might not be interested in this video. If you're a guitar player who plays bass, you might be. If you're a bass player, you should be interested in this video because we have basses. And we cover all the... Hey Glenn, bass players are not as stupid as you think. Bass players are actually the greatest people, aren't you? So today we have this on the table. This thing weighs a ton. No, it's pretty damn heavy, but also pretty damn cool. It's the Starlifter Bass Preamp DI by my buddy Carey Nordstrand. Now, why am I saying my buddy Carey Nordstrand? Well, Carey Nordstrand lives in Redlands, California, and I got to know him through a mutual friend, Edward Happenstall, and we produced an album for Ed in my studio back in California, and Carey was there all the time, and then actually Carey helped me mix the second Frameshifts album because he's got amazing ears and he knows all that stuff. So we spent so much time together, and I was friends with Carey before he even started making pickups. He made insane basses, I mean ridiculous basses. The Nordstrand bass is among the best you can get. Then he got into pickups. Now everyone knows him as the pickup guy, and very soon as one of the pedal guys. One of the pedal guys? Yeah. This is, if you can look right here, a pedal by Rocket Surgeon Effect Pedal Laboratory. And there are several Rocket Surgeons. I love Rocket Surgeon. This is like the best thing ever. And Carey is Dr. Tönkraftström. With 2 O's. There he is. So every designer at Rocket Surgeon Pedals has a doctorate in something, and Carey is Dr. Tönkraftström. That's just ridiculous and stupid. This thing is very solid, so I don't know what the components in there are, but they're heavy, and that might imply good. I don't know. So what is this? Actually, I can't really tell you. It's got an EQ, which has 2 different voicings, modern and vintage, and rubber feet. And in the back, it has an input where you can go to a different impedance and also pad it in case it's too loud, which I might have to do. A tuner out, and then a DI out with a ground lift pre or post EQ, and a pad, which I had to use, otherwise it was too loud, and an out. And interestingly, the in and out are kind of wrong for pedals. So if I'm looking at a pedal, in and out, that's usually how it is, from here to here. Here it's from here to here. It's just kind of, it just goes against everything I believe in. So my questions are always, why do I need this? I just go straight into the console or my interface, or my interface, because my bass has an active EQ. So there's Music Man over there, or there's Sandberg. They have active EQs with, so why do I need this? Well, maybe you have a bass that doesn't have an active EQ. Maybe you have a passive bass. That gives you a lot more options. But even with the active EQ in the bass, this can shape your sound differently than the bass itself can. Also, what if you are on stage and your bass has a 1/4 inch output? Are you actually going to go with that directly into the stage box? No. You need this. You need a DI out, an XLR out to go to front of house. So this is your interface to the system in case you don't want to use a bass amp, which if you're using indie monitoring, realistically, why would you? So we're going to throw that on the table. I'm only going to use the DI out, which actually means that the volume is kind of pointless. It doesn't do anything. So I'm going to smack that on the table right here. So one of the problems for me was that Carey sent it with the power supply, which is nice. Power supply is included, only that mine's blown up because it's a 120 volt power supply. It's not internationally usable. And then I thought, well, who cares? I've got the CIOKS on the table, the DC7. Well, it doesn't take DC. It takes 12 to 15 volt AC, and that plug is bigger, and it's... I blew up the power supply that came with it because it wasn't compatible in Europe. So Carey, please make it compatible to Europe when you're shipping it to Europe. And then finding a 15 volt, 12 to 15 volt AC 300 milliamp power supply. I was like, do I even have that? Well, luckily, I have the chocolate from CIOKS. And I have these flex cables, the yellow one. And the CIOKS has an 800 milliamp AC output, which I can set to 12. And with this yellow flex cable from CIOKS, I can actually power this now. Obviously, you're supposed to use the built-in, not the built-in, the...
Supplied is the word.
Thank you, Leslie. The supplied power supply. It's actually in the word itself. If you've never seen my channel, which is realistic because you're a bass player, you're like, why is this guy talking about this thing for 10 minutes? Where are the sounds? Well, you heard some in the beginning, so shut your trap. By the way, I got to say this, it's important because legal, and also because I want you to know, I'm not getting paid for this video. This is a video I'm doing for my friend, but I did get the Starlifter. So, because I kind of have to, because otherwise how am I going to make a video about it? And now it's here, I'm not shipping that thing back. What's beautiful about it is when you hit engage, look at it, it lights up all green on the sides. All around, if you see on the side cam. So it's a very clear indication whether that thing's on or not. If you mute it, it goes to red. So you very, 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 very clearly see what the deal is. We're gonna start with this Music Man Stingray in Gray Sparkle. I'm putting this all centered, so I'm not pushing the Starlifter more than I need to. I'm going straight DI out into my Apollo Twin. And there's nothing on it. So this is the direct sound from the bass. This does nothing. So actually, the pedal does so far. Wait, I'm on vintage. Wait a second. If it's in the middle, it should do, well, pretty much 0. It does a little bit. I wonder what happens if I push that impedance knob, which of course I can't find now. Did I push it in? Yes, I did. So this is also a tool, that's a great thing. With the -10 dB pad and the -20 dB pad, you might just use this to adjust 2 levels from here to the board and so on. So this is great in case you need that. You know, in case your bass is pushing too much. Because if I'm now boosting here, it might be too much, but I can, of course, engage the pad. So I have the sound now, but it's lower. So I'm gonna go back in the center here. I'm gonna go to vintage. Again, volume. It's only for the 1/4 inch out. Treble. It's very subtle. These pots, by the way, are super, super, I would call them flimsy. You don't really have the feeling that you're pushing anything. It's just like, whoop, 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 very, very easygoing pots. That doesn't, of course, say anything. A subtle bass drop there. So look at the mids, fully pushing them to sweep them. Oh, that's pointy. Almost a wah. Did I say almost a wah? Someone's gonna be happy about that. Right, Michio? I need an expression for that. So let's boost it a little bit. Sorry. That's actually really nice. Of course, you can also cut it. But to really get some of that quack out, or modern, let's do the same thing again. Much more drastic. So that's a lot now. I already have the 20 dB in. I can't get it any quieter. You can of course go pre-EQ for the DI out, which means that the guy in front of house is going to make your sound while you shape your sound for the stage with the built-in EQ. So you can see modern is a much more drastic EQ. So this is not the dark class approach where you have all the grit and dirt, and the dark glass pedals are primarily to grungify your bass. This is a let's keep it clean and shape the sound a bit pedal while giving you all the right options to interface with the world around you. Now here we have a different kind of bass because the color is different. I'm gonna go all center here, and I don't know what that switch does. That's some humbucker single coil thing. Brand new, what are they called, strings. I have Ernie Ball Cobalt Coated on here, which I'm trying. So right now I'm tuning, which we can see, I think. Do we have the desk cam? Yeah, might see that. We're very far away on the desk cam. There you go. That's the Peterson strobe tuner. Now in pedal form, and it's absolutely phenomenal. I actually should go to the bass setting, but I'm not. But of course, that's always going out of the tuner out. I don't know why guitarists don't have that functionality. I'm in between here. Of course, I could go front or center, but I'll stay in between. And you can already hear this bass doesn't push quite as hard as the Music Man does. Oh, this is passive. Maybe we should stay passive. How about that? Let's do that. Haha! Now I disengage the minus 20 dB pad. Passive bass. Still a bit much, but of course I'm boosting here, so let's be careful. Holy crap, that's cool. This is where you want that thing. No Starlifter. yeah, it turns your passive bass into a monster. Try that with the EQ in off. Let's see if I can pad the input on the console. That might make more sense. Ah, here we go. Now I'm boosting that a bit. We're getting there. It's all about levels. Now I can do whatever I want here. So no, the Starlifter is not padded, but the console is. There's a lot of potential in the mids here, of course. We're gonna go to modern. A lot more treble. Of course, don't do that on bass, because why? And so on, and so on, and so on. I'm gonna mute that. So, quality, build quality, is as ridiculously good as it gets, because Carey Nordstrand will not stand for anything else. It is made in Taiwan, as far as I know. Yes, now Leslie's yelling at me like, why are you doing this? Because I had to look. It's made in Taiwan to the highest specs possible. Now, who needs this? Well, anyone that actually needs a toolbox for their bass. More or less level, ground lift to go to front of house, an EQ tweak. This is not drive your sound. This is not make a growly, distorted sound. This is the average bass player's toolbox with a mute, different EQ options for a modern or a vintage sound, which actually I think is very aptly named. having a different volume out on the TRS out than on the XLR, pre-post. It is the thing to interface with the world around you when you're a bass player. It's the thing you probably want in your gig bag when you're traveling. It will add quite a bit of weight to it, but who cares? The only gripe I would have with it is it's not really compatible with a lot of power sources. So I would want that to be a 9 or 12 volt DC thing, so I can actually throw that on most of my wall wards, or that I can power it on a pedal board if I wanted that. Having to have the extra power supply that comes with it is cumbersome. It's not something that I would want, most certainly not when it's only 120 volt and blows up. But that's, Carey just forgot to put the right one in. That you will get yours with the power supply that works in Europe. However, a product like this, a pedal, to me, should be compatible with kind of 9 or 12 volt DC. Then again, I know nothing about electronics and whether or not that's even possible with a product like this. He's probably going to say something about headroom, clarity, the components need to be powered with, I don't know, that. So this is a clean, sound-shaping, multi-tool box for bass. It's a good one, because Carey doesn't do bad, ever. He's working on some short-scale basses that I played at NAMM, and I was like, holy crap, that's awesome. So I hope he sends one my way. Starlifter, Nordstrand, links below. Animals at the... I'm going to try that again. Starlifter, Nordstrand, links below. Animals at the end. Thanks to Leslie. Thank you, Carey. Bye-bye.